All right. What is going on, ladies and gentlemen? And welcome to another episode of Unlocking Excellence with your main man, Coach Eric Schwafel. What is going on? It's been a minute. I hope that you're having a great day so far today and that everything is just going as well as it can be for you. So check it out. If you haven't already, please rate and review this. If you're not already, subscribe. And if at the end of this podcast you found that it was valuable, then please share this out to somebody, whether it's on social media or you can send them directly with the link. And I appreciate it. That would be great. So for today, I want to catch you up a little bit on what's been going on in life and then what we're hitting on today. So I hope that you're ready to dive straight in, right? All right. So it's been a little while since we've done a podcast. And the reason for that is for what we're going to go over today, right? Is looking at what our priorities are and if we're really committed to those priorities, right? Now, sometimes we say that we want to do things and we have the greatest intention to do them, yet when it comes time to do them, we just don't do them, right? I'm in the fitness world, right? I'm a coach, I'm a strength and conditioning coach. And I see this all the time when it comes to working out, when it comes to eating well. I've experienced this, right, in those times. And what I've noticed is when we tend to look at things and make things feel like an obligation, there's a piece of us that resists that, like just completely resists it and will do everything that it possibly can in order to prevent you from doing that thing. Now, there are a couple of different reasons for this, right? If we want to get a bit more scientific, a bit more brain based, we have this part of us known as the reptilian brain. I'm pretty sure it's the amygdala. And what happens is it turns on, right? Whenever we're starting to change, whenever we're starting to do something different, whenever we're starting to get out of our routine and start to do things that are out of our normal identity, then this reptilian brain will turn on and it will go haywire. And there's a reason for it, right? It's there to protect us. When we needed this thing back in the day, this was like our spider sense, right? If we knew that there was danger out, we wouldn't even leave the cave. So now we still have this spider sense going off, but there's no immediate danger. The danger is what's within ourselves. It's our own thoughts and our own processes of how this is going to change us. And sometimes we're not even aware of that, right? Which is the very interesting part. So we have this thing, these priorities that we want to do, and then we realize when it's time to do them, we're freaking out. We have this anxiety, right? One of the culprits for this is the disintegration anxiety. So let's say that you are not a worker outer, you're not a normal exerciser, and you're looking to change your behavior. You want to become a regular exerciser, whether that means walking every day, going to the gym. You want to get active. That's the thing that you want to do, right? So what starts to happen is you get it for the first day, 2, 3 days, and you're excited. And then the disintegration anxiety comes in, right? It's ooh, this feels different. Maybe I should not do this because it feels pretty uncomfortable. I don't know if this is the thing that I really want to do. And these questions start to build in our mind. And what happens is that fear starts to build and we give in to that fear a lot of the times, right? We resort back to our old identity. So, what we get to look at is number one, what season are we in life? And then number two is to see do our goals line up with that season? Now, let's talk about working out here, right? You want to start working out again, and your idea, your frame of mind for training is like you used to do way back in the day, right? You were at the gym, you were able to work out 60 to 90 minutes. You were able to do that 5, sometimes even 6 times a week. And that's when you felt your absolute best. However, now you might have a kid or two, you have a full-time job, maybe you're married, maybe you're divorced, maybe you're single, and you realize that you don't have the 60 to 90 minutes to dedicate. You don't have the 5 or 6 days, right? What it really looks like is 2, 3 days, 4 days max, and you can probably belt out about 45 minutes, 45 really good minutes, 60 minutes tops, right? To get dressed and get to where you need to be. that's going to call for a completely different protocol and a completely different mindset, right? If we're waiting for our circumstances to be exactly what we need them to be, we're going to be practicing patience, and we're going to get really, really good at being patient and not having the thing that we want. And the reason for that is because we're basing our actions off of circumstances, right? Once this is better, then I'll be able to do this. Or once I have enough money, then I'll be able to work out. Or once once I do, you get my examples, right? So with that being said, what season of life are you in right now, right? Is it a season of health? Is it a season of building wealth? Are you in the season of parenting right now where your kid is the most important thing? But then you're starting to notice as well just how important health is because you're feeling run down from all the things that you have to do for your kid. So, or with your kid, right? And then the same could be said about work, the same could be said about relationships. And then from there, we want to look at, okay, what is that number one priority? What is that number one thing that you want to accomplish, that you want to be? And then how do we bring it about? Right? So one of the things that I noticed was the podcast wasn't as big of a priority as I would liked it to have been. And one of the reasons why things might not be as a big of a priority as we want them to be is because we don't see the value and we don't see the benefit, the need, we don't see the importance to it, right? So if I hear somebody say, I don't have the time to work out, then what I hear is what they're really saying is that their health isn't as important to them as whatever XY, whatever they're doing during that time, right? Now, that might not be the truth, but there is truth to it if we're not creating the time for what it is that we want and desire, what will fulfill us. Now, here's the other piece too, right? A lot of times, the things that we want in life aren't actually the things that we want in life. We might not even realize it, but we spend a lot of time keeping up with the Joneses. Yeah. And I've been here a couple of different times too, right? Thinking as far as for me, the business, right? This is, you want the motivational speaking, you want to speak in front of hundreds of thousands of people. Wouldn't that be amazing? And yeah, it would be amazing, but why did I want that? It was mainly ego. It was for validation. It was for recognition, right? And then to be this person or to be that person. And then you dive a little bit deeper and it's why do you want to have those things? And for me, a lot of it was ego based and I didn't even realize it. And that ended up changing my priorities, right? Because I realized that even if I had fulfilled those, it would still leave that void and that emptiness. So a lot of times the things that we think we want aren't actually the things that we want. There's this awesome exercise. I think I mentioned it in a past podcast, but we're gonna go through it here again today. It's the 5 whys, right? So one of the things that I have my clients do and I go through and I encourage you to go through is the 5 whys exercise. So it's quite simple. Whatever your goal is, say it's to lose weight, you ask yourself why. And so let's say you want to lose weight. Okay. Your goal is to lose 10 pounds in 30 days. So why do you want to lose 10 pounds in 30 days? I want to lose 10 pounds in 30 days because I want to feel better about myself. And so why do you want to feel better about yourself? Well, I want to feel better about myself so I can put on this dress that I love, and that dress really gives me confidence. So why do you want to wear this dress, and why do you want to have this confidence? Well, I know when I'm more confident, my husband pays a little bit more attention to me. And so why do you want your husband to pay attention to you? And it's because I love him and we are in a relationship together and we haven't had as much time together and I haven't gotten as much attention from him as I would like. So this is why. Well, now we see that losing weight isn't quite as is losing weight is much more important than just losing weight. Does that make sense? Losing weight means more confidence and it means a stronger connection and deeper intimacy with this person's husband. And again, I'm just making this all up. So with that being said, how much more driven do you think this person is going to be in order to accomplish their goal? I would say they're going to be a lot more driven, right? Because now they know that what this goal is going to end up doing, what this 10 pounds is going to do is give them confidence and it's going to help improve the relationship that they have with their partner. So that's one of the things that we need to do is we almost need to create a mission statement for our goals and for our priorities, right? So why is whatever it is to you, why is that a priority? Well, it's a priority for these reasons, okay? And then it doesn't have to be like a freaking dissertation. It can be just a few sentences, but make sure that there is intentionality behind those sentences, because it's going to drive you. It's going to be what you refer back to whenever you are feeling, let's say, just under the weather whenever it comes to your goals, right? So, with that being said, what are the action steps, right? Because a lot of the times we think that just saying what we want or even writing it down is enough. And we're not used to working for things, because they tend to become easy, right? They can come easy, especially when it's with things that we don't really want, right? With things that we think that we want. People love to give us things and influence us. So that, with that being said, when it comes back to us, if losing weight, going back onto this example, is your goal, then what are the first few steps? Well, it can be to research the different ways to lose weight. It can be to hire a coach. It can be to start walking every single day, right? Those answers will come to you whenever you ask the right question. That's the key, is asking the right question. Okay. So this is where I'm at with my journey right now, is I'm starting to learn just how important it is to, one, reestablish and look at your goals every day, right? Keep those priorities. Number two is to write down why they're important to you, and to make sure that they are aligned with you, right? That they make sense to you, and that they end up pulling you. Because look, there's nothing worse than having a goal and then you're not really driven to it. You're just kind of doing it to do it, going through the motions. And most people, if they just are going through the motions, they're not going to be committed, right? They're going to lose that commitment and that consistency really quick. It takes a strong mind in order to do the same thing over and over and over and over again. That's why when mastering something, it takes about 10,000 hours. That's the old saying, right? It takes 10,000 hours to master something, because you're spending so much time on it, and you're learning it, not only the outside, right, but you're learning the internal movements, and how you're supposed to move and how you're supposed to be. If we look at athletes, and we can use football, we can use basketball, we can, the one that I really enjoy using is martial artists and NASCAR drivers. Yeah, these people are relaxed whenever they are in their top performance. A NASCAR driver, don't get me wrong, they're using their muscles, but their mind is alert, and it is not in fear. It's not in anxiety. They're very confident with what they're doing. And the same thing with a martial artist. A martial artist, they remain centered, they remain at peace through their practice and through their combat, because they know that if they get too caught up in their emotions, they're going to be tossed around. Like, the emotions are like the sea, I like to think. We're a ship, and our emotions are like the ocean, and our emotions can toss us from side to side and side to side. What we've got to do is we've got to remain centered, right? And one of the ways that we do that is through compassion. And I'm going to dive deeper on this on later episodes. Compassion is one of the key elements in order to progress your life, your business, and your health. For the longest time, we have been programmed and conditioned with a more than critical voice. You're not good enough. You can't do this. You should have done this better. This is what's wrong with that. This is what's wrong with this. You're lazy. Come on, get up. All these little voices that come up and that end up throwing us off track. This is what we need to separate, right? And one of the ways that we can do that is by giving a name to that voice. I like using the angel and the demon on your shoulders, but something a little that might be a little bit more applicable is a Jekyll and Hyde, right? A Jekyll and Hyde type of scenario. So whenever you hear these voices, you separate yourself and you let yourself know, hey, this isn't me. These are voices that have been programmed into me by other people. And what I'm choosing to do is to not listen to these voices, but to move myself and to talk to myself in a tone which is more appropriate and I respond to. So what does that look like, right? This is really cool. So this exercise, you can write this down if you'd like. If you're driving, don't write it down, obviously. But this is what's really interesting, right? So get a piece of paper out, and then you can use really any situation. Let's say you screwed up at work, right? And what would you normally say to yourself in a situation where you screwed up at work? And you can go ahead and you can write that down. For me, it could have been like, oh, you didn't do this as well. It's okay, but you got to be more careful. You got to this, that, and the other, right? And notice the tone that you do it in. Okay. The next thing, if a friend screws up at work, what is the tone and what are the words that you use with them? Curious, right? For me, what I ended up using was a lot softer, like, oh man, that's all right. No worries. We can always clean it up. We're going to be able to take care of this right away. It was a lot more friendly and it was a lot more upbeat. See where I'm going here? The last one, right, is for a child. So a child obviously might not be working, but they're doing homework or something, right? They can be doing something and they screw up. They make a mistake. Are you going to be authoritative and critical to this kid? Or are you going to be more along the lines of, hey, you made a mistake. Look, this is no worries. This is how you do it. And you're going to show them how to do it. And you're going to be a bit nicer with your tone. It's not going to be quite as critical. So we can do this with working out. You missed your workout for the day. For me, I'm a bit more critical with myself whenever it comes to working out. So I'll say to myself, up, being tired isn't it being an excuse. You got to get up and you got to do it anyway. Or oh, I'm too sore. I'm going to work through that soreness, even though I feel like I need rest and more food. It's going to be a little bit more pushy, right? There's going to be a little bit more of that. You got to do this no matter what type of mentality. Now, I would tell you if a friend told me, "Hey, I'm feeling really sore today. I had a great workout and I'm really feeling it. I don't know if I'm going to work out today." The thing I would tell a friend is, well, look at your goal and what is your goal and can you take a rest day? And if you really need to take a rest day and you can't push, then what about maybe some yoga or some stretching, go for a walk? Or if it's just like, hey, I can't do anything at all, then yeah, take that rest, make sure you eat well. And there's not as much of a push and no excuses type of mindset. There is a let's find a way to win and make this work and work with what you have rather than pushing against the grain. And of course, with a kid, if a kid's feeling sore, if they're feeling tired, I'm going to suggest to that kid to take a nap, go to sleep, rest, take some time off, play a little bit, just relax. And how many times do we offer that to ourselves? Could be more often, right? So bullying yourself doesn't work. Judging yourself doesn't work. All those things there, what they do is they put us in a position where we are almost like scared of ourselves, right? So we talked about Hyde and Jekyll. Well, let's talk about your inner child and your critical parent. Sometimes we aren't pulled to do the things that we want because a piece of ourselves, like our inner child, isn't being heard. So the thing that I implore you, right, because we're halfway through February here. Yeah, so I'm sure that you had your resolutions. I'm sure that you had your goals for January. And then ask yourself, how are those going? Are you doing what you said that you were going to do? And if not, then we can evaluate those by checking what seasons you're in, checking if those are really your priorities and the priorities that you want, or if those are priorities that other people have that you've adopted from other people, right? Then from there, have compassion. Look, you're allowed to change your mind. You can do that, right? Now, I'm not sure what age you are if you're listening to this, but what I do know is that you have the power to make decisions. You have the ability to think. You are the thinker of your thoughts, and you choose where your attention goes. So, what I'm saying here is that you have the ability to create your reality based on the stories that you tell yourself. So if you tell yourself that you can't do it, then you can't do it. It was Henry Ford who said, if you think you can or you think you can't, you're right. And I might be paraphrasing that. It's true though, right? One of the things that I've realized is we stay stuck where we are because we have fear. And let me tell you, a rational fear is an illusion of the past. It's something that you can let go. And what most fears are, their faith that something won't work. So our attention isn't in the right place. So when you're feeling this fear, one, that's Hyde coming up, trying to keep you where you are, the little devil on your shoulder, trying to keep you where you are. And then the other piece of that is the breaking through the disintegration anxiety of your new being, of your new person, of your new identity, right? And sometimes that takes a little while to be birthed. So give yourself the time, give yourself the breath, and acknowledge right where you are. And that is what you need to, where you need to be is right where you are, or else you wouldn't be there, right? So list those priorities, notice what seasons you're in. If you're bullying yourself, become more aware of that, right? Try that exercise notice how you talk to yourself. Try that exercise where you write down how you talk to yourself and how you would address a friend and how you would address a child, and look to become more mindful of your fears and your thoughts that you experience on a day-to-day basis, right? Those are going to be really valuable places to start in order to change. Now, this is going to go, we're not going to dive too much into this one, but I want to share it with you. I believe this is called the meta model, right? And if you want to draw it, it's a triangle with a circle around it, and the triangle at the top you write environment, right? And below environment you'll write behavior, and then below behavior you write skills, and then below skills you write beliefs. Below beliefs is identity, and then below identity is source, right? And then on the outside of the triangle within the circle, on the left you write health, the right you write wealth, and then at the bottom you write relationships. So at the top of the triangle is environment, right? That is your surroundings. That is your outside world. That's not just your home. That's not just where you are, but that's your family members. That's your money. That's your relationships. That's everything, right? Under that, you have your behavior. What most people do is they stop right here and they try to change their behavior. What they don't realize is there's several things underneath, like skills and beliefs. So in order to change your behavior, you need to change your skills. In order to change your skills, you need to change your beliefs. Now, this is where some people stop, is they change their beliefs and they notice that it changes all the way up to their skills, their behavior, and environment. But at one point or another, they either, one, become stuck, or two, they resort back to their old beliefs and patterns. And that's because the last one, which is identity, and that's what we're going to be diving in a little bit more on, is how can we look at training and changing your current identity and adopting a new one of a person who does the things and is the person that you want, right? So what I mean by that is, if you're just starting working out, but you know that you haven't done that in the past and you haven't been consistent with training a couple days a week, then maybe what we really need to work on is your relationship with commitment and what being committed looks like. And from there, everything else will follow. So with that being said, I hope that you have a wonderful day. Make sure to check out your seasons. Make sure to check out your priorities. If you're bullying yourself, have a little bit more compassion. Check out the exercise once again. We had a lot for you today. The 5 whys, the seasons, the priorities. We talked about how to talk to yourself like a friend and like a child. So I hope that you are ready and you got value and you got something out of this. And if you did get something out of this and you feel like somebody else might, then please go ahead and share this out. I love you. I hope that you have a wonderful day. Actually, let's change that. It's not that I hope that you have a wonderful day. Go and make it a great day, because you have the power. You have the ability to do that for yourself. Make it a great day. And remember, of course, always remember this, my friend, you are unstoppable. All right. I love you. Have a great one. We'll talk soon. Peace.